Insurrection Act is a tool at the president's disposal. As you know, it has been used sparingly, but it has been used by previous presidents in American history. And I think the president's Truth Social post spoke very loud and clear to Democrats across this country, elected officials who are using their platforms to encourage violence against federal law enforcement officers, who are encouraging left-wing agitators to unlawfully obstruct legitimate law enforcement operations.
Hi, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. My name is Amon Gabar, and I'm back with another quick lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying, quick, fast, straight to the point. It's going to be quick. And I was watching this video entitled "Women Gets Grabbed Up by ICE," put up by GMSKC Prophets, the priest out there, Mahaloya. And it's an incident that took place with this woman. She's on video recording herself crying, weeping, mourning, and lamenting at the fact that she got hemmed up by ICE and she's a citizen and whatnot. Well, they didn't ask for documents or whatever. But long story short, last night's live lesson that I did, I made mention. She said something in this video that I actually said last night. And it was somewhere along the lines. I had said, you women out there, avoid just randomly just going out and about, you got nothing better to do. Like, you go out when you need to at this point. You know what I'm saying? That's wise advice. And I said that. I'm not sure the timestamp. If a brother remember, feel free to put it. It's not really that important or necessary. But I did mention it. I did kind of go along those lines and expound it a little more. But all that willy-nilly out and about, I ain't got nothing to do. Let me go outside. All that outside business is done. See, that we outside is done. You know what I'm saying? It is done. It's coming to an end. That we outside thing is coming to an end. I'm going to play some of this video, but before I do, it's also the spirit, because in that same video last night that I put up, the live stream, where is it? Damn, I got the video. I'm sorry, I got the screenshot in the other phone, but the elder apostle Ram Live has sent me a screenshot. Department of Homeland Security advising citizens to walk around with paperwork proving that they're citizens. And I said the same thing last night, in so many words. I know I mentioned hey, I said, have your damn, what you call it, on deck, your passports. Brother, know that timestamp, feel free, just, for edification purposes. If not, it's all good. It was a 2-hour live stream, so I don't think I'll be able to find that, time consuming. But if you watch this video and then you didn't watch that video, and you do go and watch that video, you can make a mental note of it. But I may mention that, we in the time where you're going to have your passport, birth certificate, and what was the other one? Social Security card. What's the other one? Or any form of proof of citizenship on deck. I mean, that's where things are going right now. And I mean that. I'm not saying be all scary and fearful and shit like that, but things are changing. Things are changing, and it's gonna get ugly. And this is what we've been saying is getting ready to happen. This thing is gonna take, it's going to take a turn for the worse, which it already did. Trump, there's videos out there, Lord willing, 3-minute, 4-minute timestamp. I'm going to try to include something, but Trump talking about.
Donald Trump is preparing to declare martial law. This is the reason he's sending troops into Portland, Los Angeles, Chicago, Memphis, Baltimore, etc. He will continue doing this. Once he has these troops in place, he can declare martial law and freeze each one of these cities. This is how he's going to take control of all the places that voted against him. This is how he will control the midterms and possibly eliminate all elections in the future. I mentioned this back in April when Liz Cheney came out and said that he was about to declare martial law, and I got thousands and thousands of comments from people saying, oh, you're a nut job, you're crazy, Liz Cheney is crazy, this isn't going to happen. I said this before and I'm going to say it again. I have known this clown for 30 years, and if you've never met this guy, you have no idea what he's capable of.
You know, people were saying that, speculating Trump is going to declare martial law before midterm elections and blah, 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 because at the rate things are going, people are going to want him up out of here. But if a president declares martial law, he got to remain president. You know what I'm saying? He got to remain president. You can't just, get him up out of there. He got to remain president. There's a whole legality behind all of that I've looked up in the past. But things are getting ready to get real shaky and rocky and nasty and ugly out here. And this is what we've been warning from the apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and still continue to do so. The elder bishops of Connecticut, our big bros who taught us this thing. Elder Gad, New York I'm talking about, and then us brothers and the brothers that came into this thing throughout the four corners of the earth by watching these men on YouTube. We are here. So let me just read some of this. Play some of that video. Got a couple precepts, and that's that. Sabbath is coming in shortly where I'm at, so I'm walking right now like a walk and talk, treadmill and talk. Treading and talking. So that could be a thing, treadmill and talk. Anyway, this is from Newsweek, put up a day ago, January 15, 2006. I'm sorry, 26, 11:03 a.m. Eastern Time. Kristi Noem says people should be prepared to prove U.S. citizenship. And she's a secretary for the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. And that's because the apostle sent me the screenshot. And I went and Googled it, looked it up. And, here it is. Just so I could get more understanding and backstory and from the horse's mouth themselves. So it says Department of Homeland Security, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem advised reporters that Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE officers may ask some Americans for proof of citizenship during enforcement operations. Obviously, bro, this was never just a migrant thing. This is, because Jake talk about, I'm a citizen, I'm an American citizen. You're going to hear Shorty speaking. They don't care if you're an American citizen. The target is you American citizens. The migrants was just a Trojan horse. And like I mentioned in last night's live stream, eventually and previously, eventually to prove you are an American and this and that and this, and we living in some crazy times, the heightened threats of terrorism, this and that and this, and the collapse of the US dollar. We got to do something before it totally collapse, implement the MOTB, which is the Revelation 13:16, which is the RFID microchip, all of this, all of that, and all of this. We're going to have to implement this thing. So it's all going to lead to that. So all roads lead to the MOTB. You know what I'm saying? So that's the easy way which that's the end all be all. If Esau's still going to do his gradualism up until we get there, but the end all be all is the MOTB. You're going to need some type of form of ID, whether, prior to that, but the end all be all roads leads to the chip. Instead of walking around with papers and documents, you brand them. Or, get them a digital ID, this, that, and this. We see the setup. Prudent man foreseeth the evil and he hideth himself. And, and the Lord, that's in Proverbs. Amos also says, the Lord revealed his secret to the servants, the prophets. And if you ain't teaching that the MOTBs, the mark of the beast, the RFID chip, if you ain't teaching that, you're an Israelite, you're a false prophet. If you're teaching this something else, you're a false prophet. The Lord set you up to mislead a bunch of other people. So let me read on. It says, in every situation we are doing targeted enforcement. Said no targeted. Everything, they picking up random people. Random ass people. Where's all the criminals? I've yet to see gangbangers getting harassed. You know, whatever them Venezuelan gangs or Latin gangs or whatever gangs, Jake gangs, black gangs, whatever gangs. It's all regular ass people. Working people, parents, you know. People dropping their kids off to daycare. But, hey, it's what it is, right? It says, in every situation we are doing targeted enforcement, said Noam during a press gaggle outside the White House Thursday in response to a reporter asking why some Americans have been asked to provide U.S. citizenship in Minnesota. And quote, if we are a target, there may be individual surroundings that criminal that we may be asking who they are and why they're there and having them validate their identity, you know what I'm saying? And they about to come down hard on you people. This is, says question. Why are we seeing Americans being asked on the streets to provide proof of citizenship in Minnesota? Is that targeted enforcement, and are you advising Americans to carry proof of citizenship? Christy Noam, in every situation we are doing targeted enforcement. It took me to X. Let's see.
Why are we seeing Americans being asked on the street to provide proof of citizenship in Minnesota? Is that targeted enforcement? And are you advising Americans to carry proof of citizenship?
In every situation, we're doing targeted enforcement. If we are on a target and doing an operation, there may be individuals surrounding that criminal that we may be asking who they are and why they're there and having them validate their identity. That's what we've always done, and asking people who they are so that we know who's in those surroundings. And if they are breaking our federal laws, we will detain them as well until we run that processing.
Is there a concern that
Oh, there you have it. Out of the horse's mouth. Why it matters. Let me see. I don't want to make this too long. Let me see. All right, I'm gonna play this video. You guys, you brothers and sisters can read this article. News break. So let's see.
Bro, let me tell you something. These people are not playing, yo. They're not even asking if you're a citizen. They're not asking if you have documents. I'm in the African store. They broke in the people African store. They broke from the back door. I'm shopping and they just snuck behind me. They grabbed my shirt from the back, bro. They don't even care if you have documents. They're not even asking you if you're okay. They just, as soon as they know you're black or something, they just literally grabbed me from the back. I turned around, I was confused because they broke through the people back door. I was totally confused. They grabbed my hand for no reason. I'm a fucking citizen. They don't even care, bro. They just grabbed me. The guy came in. It's like, you're not supposed to be in the store. It's a private property. I had to take my hand out of him and they came from the back door. They're not even going through the front. They broke in the people in the African store. They broke in the back door. Like, I'm fucking shaking right now, bro. They don't even care. Like, I'm so fucking shaky. The people that don't have documents, you should not be outside. They don't even care if you have documents or not. Because I'm a whole citizen. They didn't even ask me for my ID. They didn't ask no question. They just grabbed my hand. And then when I told them, like, why you doing that? Then they went to the other lady. They went to the other lady in the back door and they talked to the lady.
Well.
I don't have nothing. Y'all white people just keep taking people. Don't ask me for shit. No, I don't care. They just grab me for no fucking reason. I'm not helping no white people. Don't ask me for shit. Yeah, they broke in the African store. I'm just telling everybody, all the African people, I'm just telling them, y'all better lock the door. The people door was locked, and they snuck in the back. They snuck in the back. One coming from the back and one sitting in the front. Because I came in the store, they had an Iowa pick. They're in an Iowa truck. The plate says Iowa. So they don't give a fuck if you have documents. If you have documents, they don't give a shit. They're just going to come and grab you. So if you don't have shit, just stay home. I shouldn't even be in Brooklyn Park right now. I've never experienced this shit before. Give a shit. They're all in Brooklyn Park. They're just sneaking in the people's store from the back since the car. They can't come in through the front. They're sneaking in the back door. Oh my god. I'm fucking. You should not be outside. Even ask.
Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Real quick, she appears to be, I think she's a Jake chick, but she appears to be a Benjamite, or she could be like from Nigeria. But regardless of it, you got this Jake woman right here. Like, I think she's a Jake. She said she was in a
Jake.
store,
I believe shit, Jake.
barged in and basically grabbed her up without any type of ask for any type of identification. Blase. And we told you women, man, that shit was gonna start to hit home and y'all was gonna be the primary recipient of Esau's judgment, man. Because y'all put so much faith in this devil, in this system, to the point you're realizing exactly what it is now, man. See, you thought because you were women, you were going to be given a pass to continue to be hoes and disrespectful. No, the Heavenly Father judgment is upon all the Israelites, the 2/3 rather. And I think she's a Jake, you know. Brothers may beg to differ, but, you know, the Spirit tells me she's a Jake just off our verbiages and our spirit. She's definitely a Jake. She might be like a Benjamite or a Nigerian, which, you know, you have Judah, Benjamin, and Levi that came from the western, northern coast of Africa. So she could be a Benjamite. But regardless of that, she's basically crying and she's afraid now. Well, my question to you, Missy, is where's your man at? And why are you out there by yourself guiding the bride? You know? Now, I'm not saying she's not married, because usually them Benjamite women, you know, Benjamite women are some of the biggest hoes out there, man. Outside of the Judite woman, the Benjamite woman is out there, man. And every Benjamite woman I dealt with, I pretty much, they were easy for the pickings. I don't know, for that they got some, they love Levite men. I don't know why, but they love Levite men. And, you know, they're a little bit more on the friendlier side of black women, even though they got the attitudes and they're demons too, but, you know, they are more tolerable than the Judite. All right, because there is a slight difference between a Judite, Benjamite, and Levite woman, but they all have that proud, stout heart, and they all have that I don't need no man spirit, you know. But regardless of it, yeah, man, we're in the time of Jacob's trouble. Find out that this dude from Proud Boys, founder, is a primary recipient of ICE, which I call them the Israeli Defense Force or Israeli Customs Enforcement, because a lot of these ICE agents are being trained by the IDF, man. All right, and Trump giving them the green light to come in and crack some heads, and they are very aggressive. You know, so you brothers out there, be circumspect. You see ICE, just stay out the way, man. All right, this is not our fight. This is not our battle. We are not to be engaging with these people. And if you just unfortunately come across one of these demons, just comply with them. As Yahweh Shai say, agree with thy adversary quickly. Okay, don't be on that, well, I know my rights. Because, you know, Jake get it. Well, this ain't Constitution. Look, they don't give a fuck about no goddamn Constitution, man. Because if they did, they wouldn't be cracking you upside your skulls, bro. So if they ask for your ID, use wisdom. Give them your ID, you know, talk to the motherfuckers. Because, see, the Lord is just. The Lord won't even have them to have that energy with you. You know what I'm saying? Because we're doing the work of the Heavenly Father. Okay, I haven't known too many cops to get too aggressive with brothers, man. Especially when we out there speaking. The cops usually, you know, they usually don't fuck with us like that. But times are changing and we will be put through certain tests to see how we will fare with it. So,
absolutely,
knock on wood. But for the most part, you know, you brothers end up having to deal with these ICE demons, man. Just be circumspect. Don't argue with them. Don't try to combat them. Just be cool. Because right now, you know, we ain't at the end yet. You know, this place ain't fully collapsed to the point that you can do shit and get away with it. You crack one of them upside the head, then you better believe they gonna hunt you down. You know, so let the Lord raise us up and do what we gotta do. But in the meantime, don't be like these stupid ass niggas out here, bro. Taking up arms and saying, well, we gonna do. And that's their fight. You know, there's 2/3, so they gonna defend what they don't know. Let them, you know, because at the end of the day, it benefits us in the long run because this shit is cracking. It's cracking right now.
Yep.
Okay, just haven't
shit
played
going
out
down
fully yet, but things are getting ready to turn up. Okay, So let me play
Jacob's
a couple
trouble.
more minutes of this, and I'm gonna get a couple precepts, and that'll be that.
There's a point she made saying about staying in. So once I get that, of course, you brothers, you see it on the priest's page up there. So go watch, subscribe, and be edified. But I want to get that point and a couple precepts, and that'll be that. And Shabbat Shalom to the Lord's elect out there.
They didn't even ask me if I had documents. They didn't ask me if I'm a citizen. They just snuck me, like, grabbed me from the back of the, pull my jacket from the back. They just pulled me and tried to grab them.
They hemmed that silly ass up, man, for thinking shit sweet.
Yeah, I'm going home, Andrew. I'm not even supposed to be here. I usually don't even come over here this early morning. I cannot run the errands. I just not even supposed to be in the African store at this time. Because I was like, since I'm already in Brooklyn Park, I'm gonna just make my run so I don't have to come here later. And then that's the shit that's going on. They don't give a fuck if you they didn't even ask me, are you a citizen? Do you have documents with you? They just grabbed me. So imagine, they're not even asking for nothing. And they snuck in the people back door. They didn't even come through the front. So if you own any store, African store or whatever store, you gotta just lock your back door, because I don't know how they came in the back. I was in the aisle, she just came and grabbed me from the back.
Yeah, because they have technology. They can track people, man. This whole tracking shit, the technology from the phone, they can track all that, bro. They know who's who. And if you a tribe, they coming after you. They don't care if you black, Hispanic, Native American. If you look foreign, they coming after you. They ain't messing with, you know what I mean? I assume ham catching, but they really targeting Jake, man.
If you, they didn't even ask me, are you a citizen? Do you have documents with you? They just grabbed me. So imagine, they're not even asking for nothing. And they snuck in the people back door. They didn't even come through the front. So if you own any store, African store or whatever store, you gotta just lock your back door, because I don't know how they came in the back. I was in the aisle, she just came and grabbed me from the back.
Crap up on her ass, man. Scritches go like Esau's like a fox.
They don't give a shit. Like, I'm scared.
Let me pause it real quick and get a preset. You better be scared. Better be scared. Like I mentioned previously also, going through the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, I'm doing like breaking them up in parts, like, 5 to 7 verses and, each. Just going with the spirit on this. But before I do that, let me go to my other bookmark preset right quick. This is the book of Isaiah 32 and 11. It says, "Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare and gird sackcloth upon your loins." She's in this state at this point, not even to the extremity of it, but, she got a quick reality check. And majority of people, especially women, are going to get a reality check once this shit escalate. Every day is getting worse, all right? It's not getting better by the day. It's getting worse by the day. Every day is getting worse. Put that in your mind. Put that in your mental, that every day this thing is escalating. Every day the devil knows that he has a short time because he's going to come with that wrath. So every day things are getting worse. So the majority of these women are going to tremble. And we've said it, bro. I know we've said it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We said concerning all that mass migration, we were saying a lot of them are sleeper cells years ago. They sleeper cells. These are troops coming in, da. They still there. They still lurking. They being activated. And we said that a lot of them are going to be GRAPINGU women, these women. You know what I'm saying? She going to make a statement like saying, thank goodness the guy was there because I don't know what they would have did to me, So these women are going to tremble. They're going to tremble, and it is what it is. Good riddance. Good riddance. They've been at ease for too damn long. Nobody wants your crusty ass, not. Hey, you know who wants your crusty ass? Them troops. They're going to have their way with you. They just going to be a badge of, a stripe. They just going to be a stripe. How many bodies they got. Yo, it's going to get nasty. It's going to get ugly out here. That's all we saying. And let me start up, actually. Isaiah 32 and verse 9, rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. We've been telling y'all to repent, turn back to the Lord. And like the priest said, he made a valid point. These things ain't gonna happen to a certain type of people. That certain type is the Lord's people, starting with the Lord's men. You know what I'm saying? And those that are also under that covering, which the covering come by the men. And we've been through that plenty of times. I'm not going to go into it again. You know what I'm saying? Take it or leave it, whatever. We out here as men of Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, praying for our salvation. We got with the program, and we sticking with the program. Everybody else, it is what it is. Rise up, you women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. That's the warning, the voice of the prophets. Day and night, the watchmen stand upon that tower, day and night, constantly putting that alarm out, constantly. Like, this thing is coming to an end. Check out the last video I put up. Elder Apostle Gabab, Elder Apostle Ramlab. They made it was a quick 1 minute show video, short, telling you to get it while you can. That was the title of the video, get it while you can, because these warnings are not going to go out. People about to be lost in the sauce and too far in the jar. And it is what it is. So rise up. Rise up. You women that are at ease, hear my voice. You careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall you be troubled. Trouble is coming. And the vulnerable ones, like I always say, are going to be the women, the children, the infants, the babies, and old people. The most vulnerable ones, all right? When this shit crack and break loose and pop off, easy targets, easy jokes, easy, absolutely easy. The troops is gonna be after these women and wild niggas and hooligans and heathens that just don't give a fuck no more. They gonna be after the women. Where that outside attitude is gone, that we outside is gone. Your ass gonna have to be prepared to show documents, and they don't even care about that. Like she said, they didn't even ask to see my documents. They just straight hem me up. This is where we at, and you telling me this ain't Jacob's trouble? You telling me this ain't Jacob's trouble? You know what I'm saying? This is Jacob's trouble, bro. Show me all the videos with the gooks getting hemmed up. You know what I'm saying? East Indians getting hemmed up. Small hats getting hemmed up. Japanese getting hemmed up. Strictly Hamites getting hemmed up. Just go show me all these videos. The primary targets are you Israelites, bro. So stop it. All right? So, many days and years shall you be troubled. Ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, and the gathering shall not come. That's talking about the food, the famine. The famine is coming. Let's see what happens with this whole status of the government shutdown and EBT and this and that and this. I heard they're making it harder, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Things are changing real fast. And all praises to Yahweh, Shem Yahushai. We finally here watching and witnessing the fruits of prophecy blooming and blossoming. It's a glorious thing to see. It's beautiful, brother. And like the priest said, this ain't you Jake's battle. This ain't you brothers and you sisters. This ain't your battle. You brothers, just let these hooligans, these 2/3, deal with this shit. If you're in a situation, the Lord put you in a situation to try you and test you, move accordingly. That's why wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. Don't think it can't happen. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? If ICE roll up on you, whatever, cooperate. You know what I'm saying? We see, nigga, you see any videos with them talking about, yeah, you know what, you got this. My bad, dog. You got it. You right. We wilding right now. You right. My bad. No, you ain't seeing that. They like the more it's like the more you agitate them is the more violent they get. The scriptures say that, man. When a man's ways please the Lord, even his enemies shall be at peace with him. For a period of time, because we know ultimately the devil's gonna come down with great wrath on the hopeful elect. You know what I'm saying? So while things are still intact, you still gotta live your life, go to work, do this, do that, come home, blah, 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 whatever. Then just cooperate. You know what I'm saying? Cooperate until, we gonna know when the Lord gives us that signal that, yo, all right, this is it, my servants. This is it. And only the elect is gonna know. That's secret. So anyway, verse 11, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare and gird sackcloth upon your loins. And that's being lamenting. That's in the form of lamentations and mournings and woes and miseries. You know, that's gonna be the state of these women, starting with I was gonna say Judite woman, but I'm gonna say the nigger woman, because the Judite woman, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, we know that that's the tribes, the prospective tribes and all that. But once we call you that, once you're being called that means you came back to your heritage. So the nigger woman and the spick woman and the Tonto woman, you know, and all these rebellious women out there that still have, you know, still ain't convert, still not going to convert to the 2/3, whatever. That's dumb. They going to tremble. They going to catch a bad one. Shit going to be ugly out here. And niggas ain't going to come to your rescue. All right. It says, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant vine, for the fruitful vine. Yup. That's that food. That's that food, man. You know, that whole attitude of, you know, the niggas got to do this and all these imaginary standards is gone. It's gone. So that's one precept that I'm gonna get. Let me see.
I know I'm rude, but I mean, I did cuss them up, but dang, I'm not that.
See? She said, I know I'm rude. I know I'm rude. She admitted. She admitted. Now, she ain't telling you the whole story. She ain't telling you the whole story. She just said it. I know I'm rude. I did curse them out. Well, then you should have said that first. You should have said that first. But you played the victim. Yeah, they just came out of nowhere and hemmed me up, and I was being an angel, I was being a princess, and they still did. You ain't say none of that. You obviously egged them on. Fuck out of here. What y'all niggas doing? That's how we know she a nigga woman. That's what brother was gonna say too.
No, she's a nigga woman.
I'm a punk. If you don't have your documents, you just stay home. Because even if you do or not, they don't give a shit. They just grab you for whatever. As long as they see you colored, they grabbing you. You're in an African store, they don't think if you're a citizen, they don't give a shit, they're grabbing you. So stay the fuck home.
Yep, that's the point.
You don't have to be outside, don't be outside.
That's what I said.
Because they just grabbed me for no fucking reason. Grabbed me from the back. Like, had my shirt.
You got yoked up. How it feel to get yoked up by Edomite?
I'm freaking
Matter of fact, she said it was sellouts too. Later on in the video, she said it was sellouts. I believe it was I'm sure it was probably more than one. It was more than two, but she said it was foreigners or some shit like that. It could have been Hamite. It could have been, you know, she said one was looking Latino or whatever. But that's the point I wanted to get. You know, if you want to see the rest of this video, go to her brother's page, watch, subscribe, and be edified. I'm gonna get the next precept, which I have is in Second Esdras, which is, like I said, a kind of a series type of thing that I'm doing through the Spirit, just breaking them down 5-7 verses at a time. So I believe I left off at 12 last time. So I'll go to 13. They that till the ground shall mourn for their seed and shall fail through the blasting and hail and with fearful constellation. That's going into your food as well. You know, the farming industry, your farmers and all of that. You know, famine is coming. Famine is coming. I read that in the book of Isaiah not too long ago. The harvest, lament for all of that. Lament for the teats, the supplements, the welfare, the this, the that, the food, all of that. All of the government supplements you were getting, lament for that. So verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. And fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's civil unrest. Civil war is coming. You know, all hell is getting ready to break loose. SHTF, all hell already broke loose, but it's just intensifying. The Lord has kindled that fire. That's in the book of Luke. He's kindling the fire. I mean, he's preparing this fire. You know, he's prepping the fire and sparking it up for that big fire, the more fire, you know, the grand fire. All right. So, yeah, this is civil unrest. The modern day sword is the gat. And that's what people are going to be using to go against each other, up in arms and all of that. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And the course of their action shall stand in their power. So sedition among men, that's what you're seeing on the streets. That's what you're seeing in the news against ICE and against this and against, and that's just the beginning. There's gonna be more of this. You know, it's gonna be more of this to the point of invading one another. All hell is getting ready to break loose in the streets. All hell is getting ready to break loose. Total chaos and anarchy. Yo, blessed be the man that's covered by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You brothers, stay under that covering. Stay under that covering. Don't budge. Don't move. And I'm telling myself that don't go no fucking way, bro. Stay here. This shit about to get crazy. This shit about to get crazy. Where the fuck else we gonna go? You know, that's John chapter 6, around 60 something verse. Yahushua, when everybody got offended, because a lot of people gonna get offended this year too. You know, hence the, you know, sellouts, agents, and apostasy or apostates, you know, turning their back from this truth. People gonna get offended at what's coming. Sell out, denounce this. You know, but the Lord's like, Peter, you know, where you gonna leave too? And Peter's like, where I'm gonna go? I ain't got nowhere else to go. You got the word of life. You got the truth. We ain't got nowhere else to go, bro. We actually seeing and witnessing the Bible being a living book as we've been new, but now it's even more clear and evident to the regular person that everything in the Bible that was written is true. Yes, it is. It's been true. It's been true. You know, this thing is real, you know? So measure the times diligently. You still gonna have suckers out there lying and teaching false doctrine and all of that though. So anyway, they ain't gonna regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their action shall stand in power, meaning law enforcements are not gonna be regarded, governments, presidents, whatever. People are gonna take action. They're gonna get fed up, take action. You know, this whole psyop is gonna spiral out of control in a sense where people that the targeted audience are gonna be activated and shit is just gonna go south. They gotta engineer this thing. These people are so docile that they'll let anything slide, but they have to engineer this thing. You know, riots and this and that and chaos and lockdowns, it could limit the amount of food that's coming in. You know, I always say, you know, through the spirit that what's really gonna get these people popping and ticking is when they ain't got nothing to eat. But guess what? Shit hitting the fan to a certain extent where they gotta limit transportation, limit trucks, and limit food, limit the shelves. All they gotta do is limit it. And these fat ass, you know, obese, insatiable, appetite having ass people, Americans, are gonna go buck crazy when they find out they're limited to one pack of ramen. You know, one liter, only one liter of soda, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, sad diet, one pack of bacon. They're gonna wild out. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. That's coming. You know, border patrol, checkpoints, road closures, border closures, you know, interstate surveillance, all that shit. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, men are going to be afraid. And this is all because of the pride of Babylon the Great. The Lord is going to humble Babylon. Babylon is being humbled right before our eyes, man. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, brothers. You know, all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Babylon is being humbled. How do you humble this proud-ass society? By trouble. How did Israel get humble? Throughout all history, we got humble by trouble. The Lord brought troubles upon us on every side. So it humbled the shit out of us. And the ones that are humble before shit hit the fan, the one that humbled themselves in the sight of Yahweh Shem Yahushua are going to be blessed. You know, Lord willing, that's us, the hopefully elect. You know, because we took it and ran with it and say, nah, fuck this. I don't want to be partakers of these calamities that's coming. So we humbled. We put aside the pride, repented, and admit, you know, confessed our faults and our sins before the Lord and prayed that he forgive us and turned to him and served and worship him, you know, in truth and in sincerity so that we could be delivered, hopefully, and we still prisoners of hope. That's humility. Everybody else, that pride is going to get you. Pride is going to get you. It's going to get you. So the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So no pity is coming. No pity. If ICE don't get you, a nigga gonna get you. You know why? Because of the lack of bread, no pity upon neighbors. That's where we at. That's where we heading. this is all just the beginning of sorrows. And for those who didn't want to listen, when the warning was going out, when the men, you think come on, man, the apostles been on the streets for decades, over 40 decades, Apostles to Hall, 40 decades, the rest of the apostles, over 30, damn sure, longer than some of y'all been alive, some of us been alive, the bishops, while you still shitting your diapers, they were out there teaching. You know what I'm saying? While you still out there being the world, being a nigga and a hoe, they were out there teaching. So it's finally coming to pass. Y'all, you repented, stay locked in before this wrath come upon you and consume you. So man ain't gonna have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, meaning take their belongings because of the lack of bread and for great trouble or tribulation. That's where we at. That's where we at, man. And this thing is gonna escalate. All right.
So the people saying walk around with your documents. So even if you're walking around with your documents, they're not asking you for your documents. So how can you walk around with your documents if they're not even asking you questions?
And that's why I mentioned earlier too. DHS, well, Apostle Ron Love sent that screenshot. DHS secretary advising people to walk around with it. Walk around with it. What's gonna put an end to all of this is walk around with that digital ID up underneath your skin eventually. But anyway, just blowing the trumpet in Zion and sounding the alarm in the Lord's holy mountain. There's a lot going on in the world. A lot to talk about, so much to talk about. Take heed, because eventually Lord's gonna be like, man, I'm tired of talking to these niggas and niggerettes. That's it. That's it. That's it, my servants. The word went out. Y'all did what y'all had to do. Y'all held the faith. That's what's up. Good job. This is only the beginning. It's gonna get turned up, but I'm with y'all. So hang tight. Anyway, with that, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rekakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who taught me his truth. And salutations to the elect scattered abroad. Shalom.